We've got more developments in the pirate software saga. You thought it was over? Oh no, it got so much worse. He accused Quintheo of doxing. That's crazy. Pirate Software's ex-roommate speaks out, probably on actual Pirate Software himself now, Jason Hall, rather than the Twitch personality and the ex-Blizzard employee.
I interviewed an ex-coworker and roommate of Pirate Software.
Yeah, you did.
Now you guys saw
We went over the first part.
the first part of that interview last week when I talked about the Twitch terms of services. This person had worked at Twitch for 8 years, as well as working at Blizzard alongside Pirate Software. I figured the information was so different from the beginning of our interview to the end of it that I wanted to separate it between two separate parts. And I apologize for this one not coming out sooner, which if you want more info on that entire debacle, check out my last video. But we go into detail from
That was a big video. That was an hour-long video. It went hard. I highly recommend you check it out. It's too long for me to get into, so you should definitely check it out yourself. I got Quintheo linked down there in the description.
Pirate Software, even on his first day.
But you should definitely wait until after this video's over before you go over there.
On the job, apparently just browsing Reddit. For a man that says that he didn't get his job through nepotism the second time, which is when this would have taken place, it doesn't really line up.
And like, this is kind of my whole career, right? My first job I got through nepotism, 100%. My dad worked at Blizzard for 23 years. Then I came back to Blizzard in 2009, and I applied.
He finally admitted, when did this happen? He admitted he was a nepo baby?
Not having his help in any way, I got the job.
More than that, though, we dive into the roommates' experiences and how they only ended up lasting about a week before putting their foot down and saying that Pirate needed to leave. But with all of that out of the way, just last two things. Number one, shout out to my parents and my brother and my fiance's parents as they grouped together and got this really cool neon sign, which unfortunately flickers. So I don't know if you guys will see it in another video, but it looks really sick. Special thank you to them. They got it as...
I think the flicker adds character. I like the flicker. The flicker is kind of cool. It makes it seem like old school, like Fallout kind of sign.
A surprise because the channel's been doing well recently, so thank you again to all of you if you're watching. And lastly, if you're new here, consider subscribing. It really helps out trying to hit 100K by the end of the year. We're about to hit 80, which is insane, but just that single press of a button helps me a great deal. And if you end up hating me later, it's just another button tap away. Also, liking the video helps out, so if you find the information in this video useful, give it a thumbs up, get other people to see it. But regardless of if you do any of that, thank you for watching. Nice to meet you. If you could just kind of give your name and then just kind of your experience with Twitch and just kind of your experience with Pirate, everything in between that you think would be relevant to what we're going to talk about today.
Hi, my name's Cynthia Hall. I go by Ludiana online. I am a lifelong artisan cosplayer. I worked for 5 years at Blizzard and then 8 years at Twitch. And I have
Oh, she worked 5 years at Blizzard. She doesn't have as much experience as Pirate Software then. I can't listen to her.
With Pirate Software at Blizzard as his Wrangler on Diablo 3.
Really quick, number one, you share a last name, but number two, Wrangler. So what is that? What does that mean to be a Wrangler for someone during, so you said it was during Diablo 3 testing?
Yes. Basically, what happened is we share the same last name. That's why I don't mind sharing my last name. When I joined the company, they literally thought that we were related, because I have a couple of years on him. So they thought that I was his older sister. And they thought that with me coming in, I could potentially handle him and he would be less of a problem if we were working together. So this was a thing that I had to clarify like day one of me moving on.
So they knew that he was a problem
to the team.
So this was, the assumption was, oh, okay, they're siblings. She can kind of tune.
Yes. And he'll be less of a problem because we're related and I could go tell daddy.
What does
That's
that mean?
Really funny. With him,
Yes.
So with this,
so they knew he was a problem.
Him being a problem. Now, was that unique to Pirate, or is that just to speak to every new person coming into the company?
That was speaking to him, and it was not that he was an HR violation problem. Don't get me wrong. He's very charismatic. He is easy to get along with socially. However, he was very neglectful of actual work.
Yeah, you don't say. He seems like the type that'd be very neglectful of like his entire life. I'm surprised his house isn't like Asmongold's house, but he does have a bunch of ferrets, so, you know, it probably doesn't smell too great. It's probably not too clean.
In, he was hard to get to focus on anything important. Like, he wanted to do what he wanted to do. And it wasn't like he was a jerk about it. Like, I don't want to misconstrue that at all. I'm sure everybody has seen his streams. Like, he pulls off the personality. you know, like he's nice to his coworkers.
Yeah.
He wanted to do what he wanted to do.
When we're talking about what's important for, let's say, for instance, the Diablo 3 testing, so what was the important stuff that he needed to take care of, and then what was he doing alternatively?
Yeah, it seems like this has been a pattern where he just doesn't do what he needs to do and only does what he wants to do, and it's nothing that's the important stuff that he really needs to do. You know, like finish the game that he promised everybody.
So I was also the person who wrote all of the test cases. He was on the monsters team with me. So we're talking dealing with all the spawns in the game, all of the boss testing, having to do all the smoke tests whenever there were new builds, that just end to end, make a character run through to skeleton king kill. Like that's just testing the builds. Whatever the task was for the day, it could just be spawning different monsters and testing their affixes to see how they perform. That easy. But he would just kind of create a character and idle in the client and then read Reddit. That's literally what he did. He sat in front of me and I was assigning the tasks.
Yep, wasting all of his time on Reddit, wasting his life away on Reddit. Totally seems like the type of guy to do that.
So not
like we're just right about all of the things. He is all of the things.
only did I see the work he was not doing, I saw what he was doing instead the entire time.
Okay, so sorry, to clarify,
Yeah.
he was Redditing instead of doing his job, which was essentially he, instead of spawning in and just like running Skeleton King, which I know is like literally that first act, or just testing monster spawns, it was just him browsing Reddit.
Basically, because it was apparently too demanding of his time to
Now,
actually work.
was this immediate? Was this a gradual onset of more Redditor Thor coming out?
Constant.
Okay.
This was a constant. And it was to the point where in QA, we had a maximum of 2 displays. Like that was just your kit. You had 2 displays. If you had 3, it was because you had a Mac for testing. That's it. He requested a 3rd display because he claimed he needed it for his bots when he started doing some automation testing. He just wanted it to have the extra space for Reddit, YouTube.
Yeah, yep. 100%. I mean, if you got the power, might as well use it, right?
Mail. He just wanted the extra space.
Okay. Totally fair.
I wish I was Mimi. I am a huge slack ass, and I completely understand like the ADHD mentality of I just need stuff, and I also vibe code. Like I get it. If you're compiling, if you're running bots, you probably want to do other stuff while something is running and just kind of observe the console. I get it. I know how these things work, but I'm saying like this dude was legit just ignoring the tasks at hand. We would sit like with the window divider between us. I would sit there watching my buddy, and he would watch me, and we would just be sitting there waiting for Jason to actually participate in the team tasks that we had been assigned.
And so why weren't you correcting it? Like if this was the entire way, like I would get fired if I was doing something like that.
Yeah. So that is the funny thing. I brought this up to my specialist who sat behind me. So it was specialist, me, Thor. He said, well, you could try to escalate it, but no one's going to do anything because I've tried to report it before. So I talked to my manager and I talked to one of the department heads.
Yeah, what's the point? Yeah, it seems that these like HR departments, all they really even care about is virtue signaling and DEI and all of that. That's what they really care about. Whenever there's actual problems that are occurring, they do nothing, and that's how you get so much bloat at these companies.
Like I talked to the manager over the project, and I was essentially told that no one is going to do anything because of who he is.
Not. Yep.
And this has nothing to do with Joey Ray directly. Like I want to make this very clear. I'm also friends with Joey Ray. Like he is a mutual friend of friends. Okay, so like I've had direct interactions. I know him well enough to say he would absolutely not do anything to help Jason. Like he is not somebody who...
And who was going to tell him that he actually had to do work? Because he was a huge Nepo baby and they couldn't actually get him to do anything.
Spoke to get him rehired. But here's how nepotism actually works, which Jason also doesn't understand. It does not look good on your future at Blizzard if you mess with an executive's son, period. Everybody knows who Jason is. If you write him up, if you fire him for misconduct or otherwise, people are going to know you did it. They're not going to know that anything was actually going on. They're just going to know you were the guy that fired Joey Ray's son, and your career is pretty much toast because everybody in the games industry knows each other too. So Who's going to
it's all a cult.
actually do anything because Jason's doing nothing? Nobody. They're just going to let him do what he's going to do. And that's exactly what I was told. And that's exactly why Jason was allowed to form his hacks team, which is actually just exploits testing. He was allowed to do whatever he wanted to do because nobody would course correct him.
Okay. Now
yeah, this is a problem I think at so many corporations where you got people in there that you can't do anything about because it's the boss's son. It's the boss's wife. You can't do nothing about it. Because if you do, they'll know that you did it and you'll be gone. And I think that's why so many corporations are so shitty. Corporations like Dollar General, I think that's probably something that's happening there, where you get like family involved, like the family runs the corporation.
What year was this when he came on for the Diablo 3? Was this the first time he was hired in?
This was when he came back, I believe. This was, I think, 2011.
2011. Okay, so this is the second round of coming in. You said, to the best of your knowledge, it was as soon as he got hired back in, he was acting exactly like that. He was not...
Yeah.
Okay. With that knowledge, I also just kind of want to touch on, so you say that he kind of created that exploitation team, not because there was a requirement for it, but just because he would not be course corrected to do anything else. And the reason I kind of bring this up, I'm not trying to make Thor look bad intentionally, but I'm targeting the way that you had brought this up about him being and creating that exploit team. It wasn't because he was the best to do it, it's because he's the one that wanted to do it.
My understanding is it's what he wanted to do, and he presented himself as the best candidate to do it. And I am not going to pretend to know the inner workings of how it came to be because I was not part of those conversations at all. So I don't know if he actually formed the team or if the QA managers formed the team including him. It's weird calling it a hacks team. It's really not hacking. Like, it is a focused automation testing team. That's really what it was.
Use bots to test the reported bugs and exploits.
Yeah, it was automation testing.
Okay. With that, I think we got a good understanding of what that was. I've kind of touched on that nepotism bit myself too, and was like, well, it's not just, oh, his dad, is like up here. It's like, well, it's not that. It's a very, you don't see it, you feel it. That's it. And the person who's, getting it is not going to notice that. So it's interesting. 100%. I'm glad we got a bit more insight.
Nepotism all the way through it. It's fucking gross, man. Of course Blizzard would just allow this kind of shit to happen. Actual garbage company. Like, if you don't believe me that they're just one of the worst companies of all time, just look up Blizzard problems, I guess. Just look that up and you'll see all the problems that they've had.
On that, you guys knew each other clearly as coworkers. Was there anything like, did you guys spend time playing video games or anything like that?
Oh yeah, geez. A couple things. So video games, there was actually a charity event on campus. It's an Extra Life charity that every year as Team Zerg, unofficially Blizzard would put together our own team for donations to raise money for Children's Hospital of Orange County. And we would play games on campus for 24 hours straight. Pirate just happened to participate in this. I was on his team for a league tournament, and he screamed at our team for apparently not gearing correctly to counter the other team because we were just...
Yep. He seems like... I keep saying he seems. I might as well just say he is at this point because everything just points to exactly who I thought he was. And like, this is an event for a children's hospital, and you're taking it way too seriously. This guy takes team-based gameplay way too seriously. Like, bro, this is a children's event. You need to calm down a little bit.
That bad when it's not like we were losing so severely because we all played League regularly. It was not.
Yeah, even if you are losing, it's for charity. For children. Like, it's not that big a deal. It's not like this is a tournament for millions of dollars and your life is on the line.
That big of a deal. And we're all sleep deprived. It was very early in the morning after an overnight of playing games. And we're like, seriously, dude, you are raging at everybody. Like, our entire team. He was just yelling across the floor at everybody.
Yeah, he's a fucking narcissist. And he's better than everybody, obviously. You gotta listen to him. He is the king. Big brain, top shit.
It's a charity event, correct?
It was a children's charity event. And we're like, wow, we all play League, but man, like we usually only experience this stuff in League. Most of us like played League with each other at work, but this was our first time actually playing with him, especially at work, you know, so that was a whole new experience, and the last time literally any of us played any games with him. And ironically, I actually have something here that I wanted to show you. So they give us like these little cards whenever we do cool things at Blizzard. And this was related to the charity event that was like thanking me for playing nice with my coworkers. And I'm like,
bro, this is something that you give to children. This is something that lame adults give to children. Like, this is so weird.
Oh wow, he got one of these too. So yeah, I was kind of floored when I was going through some of my work stuff. Before that,
like, corporate bullshit, it's just like, it's all bullshit, man. It's all bullshit. Whenever you get high up into corporations, like, it's so lame and weird.
that had happened, and not too long after
And they always try so hard to be cool and fun.
he had joined the team, I had a roommate who urgently had to move out. She had a family emergency. She could no longer like stay in the apartment. And I was like, that's cool. You know, I'll find another roommate. Panicking. Pirate joined the team, and he apparently urgently needed to move out of his dad's house for some reason. So anyways, I was like, hey, so I barely know you. And of course I asked some people around, you know, like, so is this guy like a psycho? You know, like, is this something reasonable? You know, is he gonna trash my place if I ask him, like, you know, if he wants to rent this room from me? Because it was a full like bedroom plus his own private bathroom. Like it was basically a split apartment setup. So it was ideal for renting and sharing. Like it wouldn't have been weird with Nicole coming over or anything. Like it would have been fine. And I knew Nicole as well, and she was perfectly normal human being.
Nicole being, sorry, who?
Nicole, I believe, is the girl he ended up marrying.
Okay.
Like his ex-wife. Yeah.
Okay. Just to confirm, so the timeline events, that charity thing happened a bit after, so you guys had already been rooming together, and then you did not know him prior to him going to work with you?
No.
Okay.
Not at all.
Cool.
Like I barely knew who Joey Ray was at the time. Told Pirate, I'm like, hey, are you really looking to rent a place? Because, you know, I had this room open. So he ended up taking me up on the offer. He also had a cat.
Here we go.
I was like, cat non-destructive, right? You know, like I have furniture and stuff because, you know, this is fully furnished.
I don't like
yeah,
cats.
totally non-destructive. I'm like, cool, because I love cats. I have no animals.
Yeah, he probably lied about that. It was probably a destructive ass cat.
Fine fit. Great. We're on the same team, same overtime schedule. Amazing.
So he ends up being your roommate. It sounds really good. You know, every bare minimum's met, not crazy girlfriend, a cat that he's saying is not destructive. How does that end up pulling out? How long were you guys roommates for?
It took days for him to start screaming at people on Eve overnight.
Eve Online.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah, he takes gaming way too seriously, and he's on all of the degenerate games that you have to be on for like hours upon hours. Just so happens always to be games that really, really retarded people who think they're smarter than everybody play.
Okay.
The cat, that's totally non-destructive. Straight up destroyed one of the chairs within
Yeah,
the first
don't
week.
say.
And because it was patent leather, like the polyurethane stuff. He offered
Holy
to tape
shit.
it up for me, not
Holy shit, you don't say he lied about the cat.
replace it, and also tried to make it out like the cat never did anything to the chair, even though it was like raked and like cheese gratered up.
Yeah, he can't do any wrong, and neither can his cat.
The cat scratched the shit out of the chair. There's no
Scratched the shit out of the chair.
right. You can't do that any other way. Yeah.
Yeah. There was no way around it. Pretty much.
No, actually, you did it with your fat ass. No, I'm sorry. She's not fat. I don't know where that came from.
Anytime that I came home and went into the kitchen,
She's actually very pretty and kind of my type. And you know, I'm gonna move on.
all the dishes everywhere, like the pans, still food in them on the stove, shit everywhere, food, countertops, everything everywhere. Like it was not disgusting sty, but it was very just a fucking mess. Okay. And when you're working overtime, you just want to come home, make a quick meal or whatever, especially on weekends when you're not doing overtime. You don't want to have to clean up after your roommate to function in your own apartment.
That's weird.
So
that's weird having to clean up after your roommate.
it was just like trying to do gentle nudging, like, hey dude, could you like be a bit better about putting away leftovers and stuff, you know, like trying to be diplomatic about the whole thing. And I'm like, the fucking combination of things, right? You know, like the not letting me sleep, the cat destruction, the mess of it all.
That was happening within the first week, all of these things that you're listing.
First week.
Okay, how long did this go on for?
Well, this made me more suspicious about what else was going on. And I'm not a privacy invader, but he had left the door open to his bathroom, and I like just looked inside because it was in the hallway.
That was a mistake. Why'd you do that? It's probably a fucking swamp in there, man.
It was like a hallway to go through to the bathroom, and then his bedroom, which the door was closed, so I did not go in there. And then my bedroom. So like, I just turned on the hall light and I peeked in there, and the place was a fucking sty. He had never put up a shower curtain in the bathroom. There was like ashy stuff everywhere, like gray ash kind of looking spots everywhere, including like in the shower, on the floors, on the countertops. The toilet it had been a fucking week, and I could not understand the state of things. Let me just say that I was very concerned. Okay, and the sum of it all, I was like, this is not gonna work out.
Yeah, it's like straight up all of the signs point to narcissism.
My guy. So I just like
narcissism, and he's just a slob.
Like, hey, look, like this
is not
a thing between us because you're a cool dude. But like with the cat who said non-destructive, already destroyed a chair, this is not gonna work out. Like, I'm pretty sure that's straight how I played it. But I'm like, the sum of all things, I do not need this apartment destroyed. You know, it's my deposit, my name on this primarily because I was a primary resident, and I do not need destruction of property on my record or any of that. So like, I could not take that chance. He inelegantly took it as a all right, fine, I'll move out kind of thing. He did get out of there within the next month. He never paid me back for the chair, by the way. Never did anything about that. And when he finally did move out, I wish I had saved pictures of the state of his room. He had cleaned nothing, so I had to clean everything by hand.
What a douche, man. Like, what an actual douche. You move out and leave your nastiness everywhere. Like, shitty person. That's the kind of person that doesn't put the cart back at the grocery store. You know, that's worse than that.
I don't know what on the walls in his bedroom, and you're just gonna have to like take my word for this. I don't know if it was snot
I believe her.
Or something else just like wiped here and there on the walls, and more of the like random gray stuff, just spots and things. It's very clearly not like smoke ash because there was no odor of it or anything.
That is just strange. That sounds like a cryptid.
It was very strange, right? It was disgusting. Like, I was masked up and gloved up and everything for all of this because like, holy, like, gross. Lesson learned.
Yeah, that's some Asmongold levels of disgusting.
Don't get guys as roommates, especially when you're a girl who gets the icks from this kind of thing.
So that's a lot of that.
Yeah, well, I disagree on that because I think that I'd probably be a pretty good roommate to a girl because I'm pretty clean, I'm pretty neat. Like, I don't leave behind disgustingness. If I do, I clean it up. Like, just be respectful, especially if you're in somebody else's domain.
That personal stuff. No, I think that is relevant. I do think so. This was what, 10 years ago now? 15?
Forever. Yeah. Quite some.
So I'm not, again, this isn't to dismiss that. That sounds absolutely horrific. You know, this was some of that old stuff, but I really appreciate getting to hear it. If you have any information.
Yeah, I doubt that he's fixed any of that.
Like, whether it be like
any of those problems.
If you have text messages or emails or anything else to kind of corroborate that time, it'd be awesome. If you don't, that's, you know, we're just taking your testimony as testimony. And I think it's just good to know, have some of that context getting into it.
I'll send you over some of the screenshots that I also sent to some of my other coworkers, because like when all the pirate stuff like really started stirring, like we started sending stuff to each other. One of our other friends, he's another person that played League with Jason at one point. Apparently also got raged at. But this guy is a master troll. This guy was also one of my best friends. Would print out a photo of Edward Cullen's face and tape it to the bottom of Pirate's mouse, so that whenever he would come back to his desk, he would wiggle his mouse to try to wake his PC, and he just couldn't wake his PC. So he'd have to flip his mouse over and be greeted with Edward Cullen's face. And you could just
That's
hear him
pretty good.
scream across the floor.
That's pretty
It's good to know. So this wasn't like,
Oh man, I guarantee you he was like legitimately mad.
you know, he swooned everybody with his charisma. Because, like, I'm not going to lie, like, the internet understands that. A lot of people are, you know, he was in the good graces of most of the internet literally just a year ago. But you're saying, so even with that, and I think it makes sense based on...
Yeah, I think he manipulated the algorithm to get himself put in that place. And it was too fast for anybody to realize what kind of person he actually was. And slowly over time, it takes a year. It takes about, what, 7 months for you to get to know what a person is actually like. And, you know... It's been about that long.
His quote unquote work ethic or lack thereof. There were people that already were like, he was just kind of irritating.
And I feel like this is why a lot of people aren't really talking about him, because like there's several camps of us. Either people just legitimately didn't know him at the time, didn't care to know him, don't remember him, aren't even aware he exists at this time. He was on no one's radar. There's no reason for him to be on anyone's radar right now. They have no clue. There's people like me who had to work directly with him and are just so raged that they don't want to talk about him. There are his few friends who like may speak positively about him, but we don't really hear anything from them. But then there's also the few people who want to speak out, but they don't because they're afraid of the repercussions. And I feel like that's the majority of the people that I know too, because games industry is...
We're never going to fix anything if everybody's just quiet because they don't want to be attacked by a crazy mob online who aren't real in the first place.
So small. A lot of people are still in games, so they don't want to talk about these things because...
Yeah, if talking about things like this gets you fired, fuck it. You don't need that job. This is how things keep getting worse and worse and worse. Nobody wants to do anything. Nobody wants to say anything. They just want to skirt by, get by, doing the things that they do and live their life. But then everything's complete shit and you hate your life and you hate your job. Why? Why do you let these things happen?
Again, you know, like they don't want things to come back to them.
Is it even a matter of, so does Jason's dad, does he have this like undying love and adoration for his son that is going to impact someone's work history? Is it just the fact that you would speak about someone's son?
No. So here's the thing about Joey Ray. I am not in his DMs at all about any of this because I respect him and I know, like, at least in the past, about how he's felt about this thing. His entire mentality has been, if you have a problem with Jason, take it up with Jason. Like, he doesn't want to deal with any of that. He's not the kind of person who's, like, gonna come to his rescue.
That sounds like the healthiest way for nepotism to be dealt with. That sounds like, I mean, Joey Ray sounds like, yeah, you shouldn't be going to me because that's how you propagate this. So I guess I was more asking, like, the people that shied away, is it simply because they knew that Thor was, you know, the son of him, or was it because like there were also consequences because he was was he protecting Thor in any step, or was it just the fact that they were, you know, father and son?
A lot of people that aren't speaking up aren't doing it because they're afraid of Thor's followers. Actually, they're afraid of internet repercussions. And
because these followers will go in droves to the company talking about one specific person. They'll be like, well, this one specific person everybody's talking about is causing us problems. All right, gotta go, pack your bags.
Internet people coming for them.
It has nothing to do with the dad.
Like, legitimately
Okay.
has nothing to do with his dad, because his dad, like, especially anybody that knew him like at Blizzard while they were there, and
I think people being able to just garner a following is a huge problem, especially when the person is a huge piece of shit and they still have a following of just absolute degenerate morons. That is such a big problem because it's hard to go after somebody like that without just having thousands upon thousands of people bombarding you.
Just like who know him a little bit better outside of Blizzard, he's normal. He's just a dude. Like, he happens to have been an executive who worked at Blizzard forever. He's a cool guy, don't get me wrong, but he's not somebody who's going to mess with people. That is not him. He is not like that. He would never do anything like that.
I just wanted to include that last part there because I think it's important to make a distinction that it wasn't like...
Yeah, like Pirate Software's father, we're not talking about him. He has nothing to do with this. This is all Jason Hall. This is all Pirate Software.
you know, Joey Ray going out of his way to smite down anybody that would talk badly or, you know, report his son. I just really wanted to make sure that I was representing
Yeah,
him.
he probably just has the mindset, fuck around, find out. Like, if the internet's mad, they're gonna be mad. There's nothing I can do about it.
In the same way that she was describing him. And just to reiterate,
if he tries talking about this, he's just gonna drag himself down too.
On a final note, like, yeah, this stuff happened back in like 2011. Now, Pirate was like 24, 25 at around this time. So I still think, you know, brain was pretty well developed at this point. You know, maybe he has changed over the last, like, truly.
Maybe a little bit. Maybe he's changed a little bit and gotten a little better. Maybe he's not as nasty. But he hasn't changed that much, because that's not the way it works. Especially going off of the way he acts, his attitude about things.
Over a decade now. I think probably the most significant part of this video is just kind of pushing back on his claims that he didn't get the second job at Blizzard through nepotism, when it looks very clearly, based off of her testimony, like that's exactly what happened. But I'm curious to hear what you guys think. Let me know in the comment section below, and look for a Mutahar video coming out tomorrow. That's it. I'll see you guys later. Adios.
Woo! We're talking about Mutahar again. He's getting canceled. Pirate Software doing the same shit. Not really. I don't think he's actually getting canceled. I think people are just riled up about something that isn't really a big deal. Like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell for all the notifications.